Hey guys, want to show your support to the channel and get some awesome rewards at the same time? Then go check out my Patreon page where at whatever tier you choose that fits your budget, you'll get plenty of rewards such as updates and announcements on the regular, exclusive sneak peeks of my videos before they go up online, get yourself credited, and receive a special shout out at the end of my videos and more. Go to patreon.com/Ackleyattack427's to start pledging today. And don't forget to also check out and consider gifting me any items I have listed on my Amazon wishlist and even supporting me on my Streamlabs tipping page that'll also help support the channel directly. Links are in the description box below as well as on my link tree for you to check out. Thank you and enjoy today's video. Take care. Hey guys, like what we do on our channel and want to see more videos from us? Then not to worry about a thing. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as turning on the notification bell so that way you can see more of our videos coming up very soon. Thank you and enjoy today's video. Hey folks, I'm officially coming back to Syracuse Collectors Con this year, taking place once again at the Center of Progress building at the New York State Fairgrounds in Syracuse, New York from March 28th through the 29th. I'm gonna be there all weekend as a regular attendee, and I'm gonna be cosplaying as my gender-bent version of Sailor Moon on Saturday and Ash Ketchum from Pokemon on Sunday. More information and details can be found at SyracuseCollectorsCon.com for you to check out, and if you see me there all weekend, then by all means, come on up to me and say hi. Hope to see you there. Hey guys, this is Ackleyattack4427 here with a very special video for all of you guys, and yeah, I guess if you couldn't tell, I'm of course pretty much in my work shirt again because, well, obviously enough, probably by the time I'm recording this video, I'm just already pretty much getting myself ready to heading off to work for today, so I may already got done with it by the time this video goes live for sure, but you kind of get the idea, so yeah, something that I've been wanting to do for, I guess a little bit of time now is that, I think I know I did mention in several of my videos, of course, I'm pretty much, yeah, obviously enough, if you know, pretty much in several of my videos, yeah, there we go, so, yeah, I think you can tell from, of course, what we're seeing right here is, of course, obviously, I've actually done a good chunk of videos up on, of course, my Bachmann, Thomas and Friends layout that I've had for quite a long time now, for sure, and yeah. And I think it is actually for a good reason by far because, well, obviously enough, since I first started collecting these models, with, of course, some Hornby models that I've been managing to obtain pretty much very recently, for sure. I think I've been doing that since 2009, for sure, and yeah, it's hard to believe that I've actually been collecting those models for quite frankly, over 15 years now. Yeah, I think that's pretty much, yeah, that's almost as old as, of course, when I actually make videos on, of course, YouTube for sure. So yeah, but of course, you can pretty much still see by far, I really do love, of course, pretty much what this layout has provided, and it's actually grown a whole lot with, of course, some new tracking accessories, and of course, whenever I get new models for sure, so yeah, so I figured for today's video, honestly, I never actually gave a little tour, of course, pretty much on my layout for sure, which is actually really quite surprising, pretty much, now that I mention it for sure, to which, yeah, maybe I should hands out, so yeah, I kind of figured to help fill in the gap before I'll actually do my next video on my layout, or any other videos that I would do for sure. I will give you guys a little tour, of course, everything that goes on, and of course my layout to see what it's like, hands out, and And while we're at it, I think I'll still pretty much provide, of course, any other models that I currently have, aside from some of the ones that are currently occupying pretty much the entirety of Timoth's shed, for sure. So yeah. But that's at least what I can say, of course, that front. So yeah. I guess with that being said, let's go ahead and get right to it, for sure. And yeah, obviously enough, I think pretty much we should probably begin with, of course, the most obvious pretty much spot, and of course my layout, for sure. Timoth's sheds, for sure. So yeah, I guess pretty much of anything, that is basically the center point, and of course my layout, for sure, and it's still for good reason. I still really love pretty much this version of Timoth's sheds back then, even with the two expansion packs that I actually got to really help fill in the void, for sure. So yeah, and obviously enough, we've of course got pretty much the engines occupying Timoth's sheds, which I really do pretty much really do think is quite fitting. Like, of course, we got Thomas, Percy, and over on the left is, of course, Gordon, James, and Henry, and over on the right is, of course, Edward and Emily, and yeah, obviously, pretty much from what I've actually seen, I really do think pretty much those 7 engines that you see really do make up pretty much everything that goes on in Timoth's sheds, for sure. And yeah, originally when I first started collecting these models, long before I actually got this, yeah, right before I got Timoth's sheds, I would actually store these models, and of course on my shelf that you see right here, with of course most of the other models that I currently got, but of course around the time I actually got Timoth's sheds, I've actually figured that I would actually have all 7 engines occupying hands down, to which I'm really glad I did. I'm still able to get them out and get them running on my layout, so I guess there's the hag, give it to the hag, for sure. And well, I guess obviously enough, pretty much on the left side of Timoth's shed, we've of course got pretty much 2 sections of track that I've actually set up, for sure, with of course 2 bumpers to make them look like additional sidings, pretty much that'll help pretty much give a little something for the engines to pretty much rest their wheels on whenever it's not a shed or anything, but you kind of get the idea. But yeah, I do kind of serve them as a couple of nice resting spots, hands down, and alongside the right, hands down, yeah, obviously enough, this track actually is connected to, of course, pretty much this section of track, to which I call track 1, for sure, and of course, going along the right side, I think the most of the engines will actually come out from the pretty much turntable, and of course onto this siding, to which obviously enough is of course pretty much occupied by the crossing, for sure, with a couple of haze bumpers for of course some signs, and of course they'll come out right from this switch area, right where pretty much the coal logger is hag, all the way out to the main line, for sure, and of course pretty much alongside the coal logger, as you can see here, pretty much we've of course got the trackside station with the water tower, pretty much right around here to serve as a small little mini station, and of course pretty much the Blacklock castle tower, pretty much right next to it, with of course Jeremy, Jeremy the plane resting over there, for sure, and of course going alongside down this track, right past the foreman, and of course Sir Topham Hag, pretty much with pretty much a couple of cards, and pretty much his car, and of course the pretty much a few workmen for the narrow gauge pretty much railway. Yeah, we've of course passed by this signal box that you see here, which is actually quite nice, with Harold resting over there, and right over behind this nice Hornby footbridge that you can see here. Yeah, to which, obviously enough, I don't have a station pretty much that will occupy it, but I really do love this footbridge, and yeah, certainly another great, pretty much a really great piece of accessory from Hornby, to which, yeah, obviously enough, pretty much, that's of course one of them, while the other one pretty much is way out on the main line, so yeah, I guess it is quite obvious that I've actually got two of those, hands down, and I really do think they are actually really great, so yeah. But of course, going back on, pretty much going back on track, no pun intended. Yeah, pretty much going down this line is, of course, this nice cottage with, of course, Farmer McCall with his pretty much with his pet dog and his pretty much sheep that he actually has, and of course, pretty much a whole herd of cows in addition to that, with, of course, this really nice John Deere tractor that pretty much, yeah, this nice Ergel John Deere tractor that I decided to put up for decoration, which is actually quite nice and very fitting. And of course, passing alongside the back of Timothy's sheds, we would see pretty much Jack and Alfie pretty much back there, to which, yeah, I guess I should mention for the fact that pretty much I did, yeah, a lot like everyone else, I actually used to collect William Railway for sure, and of course with these two and the pretty much the house that was part of the Thomas and the Magic Railroad set that I used to have. Those are actually quite a few William Railway items that I decided to keep because, well, I think they'll actually be great fits, of course, on my layout for sure, so yeah, but that's at least what I could say on that front, and of course, going alongside the pretty much the back, hands down, that will pretty much go out towards the pretty much main line. You'll definitely see pretty much this switch that will pretty much go around Timothy's sheds right to this right around to this hanging, as you can see here. So I guess I do have a good reason to have the pretty much railroad crossing pretty much all the way out over there, so that way I can actually have those two sidings meet, which I think I did the best I could, so yeah. And of course, pretty much it will correspond, and of course this pretty much bizarre looking curve hands out all the way to back to here for sure, so yeah. I guess that's pretty much everything that would occupy track 1, of course my layout that you can see here for sure. Well, of course, the outer line, to which I pretty much dubbed it as track 2, hands down, that one is actually pretty much that's actually as impressive as, of course, what I put together for track 1, and I did say that because, well, I think you can definitely see with the Bachmann speed controllers that I currently have set up. I actually did label pretty much those two with, of course, each track that I actually have set up for sure, and honestly, I think with what I've actually set up by far, I think it really does help out, of course, on that front, so that way I can tell on, of course, which controller I can actually use for which track, hands down, so yeah. But anyways, pretty much going alongside track 2, going all the way down here, we would actually pretty much pass by a few spots for sure, like of course we actually got the Sordor Lighthouse for starters, which I do think is actually really quite fitting, and of course, pretty much with this and the windmill as well, which is easily recognizable for sure. Yeah, I've actually been making great use of them with this pretty much multi-accessory power supply for sure, alongside pretty much a couple of the pretty much the track switches that I currently use, hands down, so yeah. But either way, I think it's actually quite nice, and of course, it would also, right in the middle, in between the lighthouse and the windmill, Yeah, it will actually have this nice custom-made statue that I actually have featuring pretty much my gold Thomas engine, my silver Percy engine, and of course my bronze diesel, to which, yeah, I'm actually really glad I got those during the time Thomas's 60th anniversary came around with, of course, obviously enough pretty much Thomas's Sword Art Celebration, songs from the station, and calling all engines for sure. So I'm actually really lucky to actually get those for sure. And yeah, might have been a spider web that I had to swag away for sure. But yeah. But either way, I think with those three that I actually got, they've actually really helped out, and of course, pretty much in this custom-made statue that I currently have for sure, and actually works well on, of course, my layout. And speaking of course, the windmill, pretty much obviously enough, we've of course got Farmer Trotter with, of course, his pigs pretty much out there for sure, to which... yeah, I think I should definitely fix up those pigs. Some of them might have toppled over for a moment. But yeah, we would definitely see Farmer Trotter with his pigs, and of course, another herd of cows that we actually got, and of course, corn, yeah, and yeah, I almost forgot to mention, pretty much right around track 1, we would also have, like, one of the other water towers that I actually got with, of course, the storage, yeah, the storage shed, and of course, the corrugated hut for sure. So sorry I forgot to mention those, but yeah, even going alongside pretty much track 2, we would pass by Cranky the Crane, pretty much hands down, pretty much just waiting for, of course, something to unload, hands down, but we haven't really got to that point yet, but we'll definitely have to wait and see. And of course, pretty much going alongside the Strega section alongside pretty much this layout for sure, right? Yeah, I think it would correspond in, of course, this pretty much this section right here where Maithwaite Station is at for sure, with, of course, obviously enough, Mr. Percival and his wife, the entire Hat family, pretty much a conductor, pretty much the school children with, of course, pretty much their teacher, and of course, pretty much the conductor or guard, pretty much, yeah, all waiting for a train to arrive for sure, and even this really, really nice, pretty much English telephone booth as well, that I actually pretty much decided to move over, pretty much because I think it'll actually make sense for a Timothy Jet, and of course, pretty much a water tower right over there for any engine to come by for a nice drink. And of course, pretty much to top it all off is, of course, we actually have Bergie waiting over by Maithwaite Station, pretty much to drop off pretty much passengers for sure. And yeah, even in between tracks 1 and 2, we would see pretty much Terrence pretty much hard at work, pretty much on that front. So yeah, I guess that's what I could say on that front. So yeah, and of course it would go alongside this nice curve, right, pretty much all the way, pretty much underneath the footbridge again, and all the way back again. So yeah, I guess it is actually quite obvious that I think I actually had pretty much a really nice, unique, pretty much concept for, of course, this layout for sure. Give it to the size of this table for sure, and I think it actually works quite well from what I've actually seen, and it is actually really quite nicely done, hands down, and of course I should also mention, I think pretty much everything underneath the table for sure, right? Yeah, I've actually crammed in a lot of stuff back there for sure, right? And I know it's actually quite obvious that I actually did pretty much cram in some Bachmann and Hornby models based on the boxes alone for sure. But I think it's also where I also keep most of my Tommy and Trackmaster pretty much Thomas items in addition to that for sure. So yeah, I don't know why to be honest, but I think it's probably the best I could actually point out for sure. And yeah, I guess it is quite obvious. Speaking of course, some Hornby models for sure, I've actually pretty much some of the ones that I've actually got off of eBay do include pretty much their boxes for sure. Like, of course, yeah, you can definitely see pretty much the boxes for yeah, pretty much both versions of the breakdown crane, to which yeah, those models are definitely in there. So yeah, I've actually decided to keep them in the boxes for sure, mainly because, well, I need a little something to actually easily remind me of course, when they first came around for sure. So that's a little something that I've decided to treasure for sure. And yeah, and I think for plenty of the models, when of course I open up the packaging for them, I will usually throw them away, but of course, with a few accessory pieces that I actually got, and even some sets, hands out, I would actually keep their boxes for sure. Like, of course, this one for Thomas Save Santa Sleigh Seg, pretty much I've decided to keep it in there for sure. So that'll definitely come in handy for when I'll need to seg this thing back up right around Christmas time for sure. So yeah. But anyways, I think now that everything around this layout is taken care of, I guess you might be wondering to yourself if most of my models are up there, what about some of the other models down here? Well, I think that is of course pretty much what we're actually diving into right now for sure. Yeah, for while I actually do keep most of the models, particularly the 7 main engines over at Timoth Sheds, the rest of the models I actually keep in this nice shelf for sure. So yeah, obviously enough, we've of course got Duck, hands down, both the Hornby version and the Bachmann version, like over in the way back for sure, which I really do think is quite nice. And of course we got Oliver alongside Rosie, again, both versions, hands down, pretty much the first one in her normal pink color, and the other one in her red color, which is actually quite nice. And of course we got Toby, Mavis, Salty, Diesel, yeah, and of course, yeah, I guess it's what I could say, pretty much for those, hands down, those are actually really great, hands down, and of course we got Paxing, sorry if I was blanking out for a moment, but yeah, obviously enough, Paxing is of course another one that I actually got, and of course, going alongside these two sections, we've of course got Ari and Bert, hands down, and of course Bill and Ben, which is actually quite nice, and of course Donald and Douglas, and Spencer, and of course Busy Bee James for sure, and of course you got good old me as a Thomas and Friends character, all thanks to my friend Trainboy54 for making that for me. It really is quite great, and of course, really beating up Bachmann Thomas with pretty much his Santa hag for sure, which I do think is quite nice. And of course, we got Origin James, pretty much in his black livery, which is quite nice. And of course, Thomas in his LBSC 70 livery as well, alongside the Bachmann Thomas with a speed-activated sound, which is quite nice. And of course, to top it all off, we've of course got Bo, and of course my latest one, Rebecca. So yeah, I guess pretty much of anything, most of the other engines I've occupied on the top section of this shelf, as you can see here, which I do think is actually quite nice. And while of course the pretty much the stuff underneath them is mainly all the rolling stock for sure. Like, of course, we pretty much, this middle section is devoted to all the coaches that I actually got, with the exception of course, the mail vans, and, of course, the pretty much, yeah, pretty much this pretty much refrigerated lobster van, as you can see here, and I guess it is quite obvious, right, pretty much sitting right on top of the Hornby James's coaches is, of course, Old Slow Coach for sure. I don't know why. I just think it's actually really quite clever for sure. So yeah, and alongside the bottom is, of course, most of course, the other cars that I actually got for sure. Pretty much going all the way from Scruffy with the troublesome trucks, as you can see here, to the pretty much the paint drum wagon, to pretty much quite a few flatbeds, as you can see here, and a few other trucks that I actually got, to some tankers, as you can see here, and of course some vans as well, and some wagons, and of course, pretty much a good chunk of pretty much brake fans, and of course this nice, pretty much small little crane car for sure. With, of course, obviously enough for the brake fans that I actually got, being, of course, the spiteful brake van on the right, and of course, towed right there smack in the middle for sure. So yeah, I guess it is actually quite interesting to note, of course, all those, because yeah, all those other engines and rolling stock that I actually got, I usually store them in, of course, this shelf for sure. Whenever, of course, I'm not pretty much running anything, of course, on my layout, hands down, to which, yeah, I think it's probably the best that I can actually do, hands down, so I'm not complaining. So yeah, I guess as you can see here, I've really got a lot going on with, of course, my layout and, of course, pretty much my Bachmann Hornby Thomas models for sure. So yeah, but I'm easily really quite happy that I've been getting those hands down. I knew pretty much since I first learned about them back in like the late 2000s, pretty much around the time YouTube was a relatively new website for sure. I knew I've been wanting to get my hands on, of course, any of these models, and yeah, over time, I've actually really pretty much been making pretty great deals, and of course, getting these models for sure. Like, of course, when I first started out, I pretty much, I would usually buy them on myself, hands down, and even picking some up at exhibitions and trade shows back in the day. But, of course, pretty much when other things started to occupy them, yeah, pretty much when other things start to occupy me, hands down, I still get these models, but I usually wait until right around Christmas, at least once a year, to get any new models for sure. But, of course, since late 2025, I've actually pretty much been recently getting back into, of course, getting a good chunk of these models for myself. Yeah, pretty much buying them with, of course, my own bit of money that I actually have saved up for sure. And yeah, the results actually came out really great for sure. So yeah, but that's at least what I can say, of course, that front. So yeah, I think regardless of course, all that, I still love, of course, what I've actually pretty much got in terms of my layout for sure. And I'll be looking forward to getting some new models that I haven't actually owned just yet for sure. But hey, I'm sure we'll wait and see on that front if, of course, some time and finances will actually allow me to do that. And, of course, right now, pretty much we'll wait and see, of course, what Bachmann Thomas model I'll actually pick up for sure. But I can confirm pretty much a couple of Hornby items that pretty much I'll be getting later on down the road. So yeah, like, of course, obviously enough, pretty much since I did do a What the Pickup episode on the 2011 version of course, the breakdown crane, as you can see here, I know I'm going to be getting that again, and of course, the Hornby Thomas and the breakdown train set that is currently shipped out to me currently, so I'll be really excited to get that, but probably won't be until sometime later for sure. And I know a lot of you guys are actually really anticipating for me to talk about that on WTPU, aka What the Pickup. But don't worry, I will later on, but probably won't be until sometime later, right up until it arrives for sure. And of course, I have recently pretty much found and ordered pretty much D261, aka Class 40, aka the Bullded Out Diesel for sure. So yeah, probably won't get that until sometime later for sure. So we'll definitely have to wait and see for sure. So yeah. But those are pretty much what I'll be expecting, hands down, for, of course, some future models for sure. So yeah. And you might be wondering to yourself, I know I did mention several times, pretty much that I would plan on moving out for sure, just so that I can live on my own, hands down. And I guess pretty much if anything, if that being the case, what will come up, of course, my models and my layout for sure. Well, that is something I'm hoping to figure out, hands down. I mean, I do want to pretty much bring my models and my layout with me for when I'll move out, alongside several other items and, of course, a few other things I have that I want to bring with me for when I'll pretty much move out pretty soon. So we're probably going to have to wait and see later on. Maybe we might fit the layout in, and of course, on my future living space, if we can actually find a good one. Or who knows, if I actually do upgrade to, of course, get myself a full-on studio space for me to shoot, play more video projects at. Maybe there might be a good spot for, of course, on my layout, hands down, but that'll be figured out until sometime a little later for sure. So you may never know on what will actually come up, hands down, but I do hope things will get figured out for sure between me and my family, hands down, and anyone else we can actually work with for sure. So yeah, we're definitely going to leave that for the future to decide on that. But yeah, regardless of course, all that, I know I'm still looking forward to, of course, what will come up for, of course, with me and all of, pretty much all of the Bachmann Thomas models that I currently got, pretty much currently for sure, and hey, it is actually pretty much one of many things that I've actually done in terms of my videos on YouTube for sure, So I do want to keep that going for all of you guys while I venture out to other stuff, hands down. So yeah, at least that's what I could say on that front for sure. So yeah. And I know I've got plenty of other video projects that I hope to do with them for sure. Like, of course, obviously enough, I do hope to get Thomas HO00 Railway going, so that way, pretty much I could still make use of course, pretty much all these models that I actually got. So that's something to really bear in mind for the future for sure. So yeah, but until then, I'm excited to see what will come up for any future models that I hope to get for sure. Some ones that have already came out some time ago, while some other ones that I'm really looking forward to pretty much getting in my hands that are currently awaiting to be released for sure. So again, we're going to have to wait and see on the but for now, I still love what they've actually, I still love what Bachmann Trains has actually done for the Thomas & Friends range. And I do hope they'll keep on going with that right up until pretty much its time will end, hands down, to which may seem unlikely pretty much for the time being, but you may never know for sure. While for any Hornby Thomas models, I am hoping to actually pretty much get a few of them. Pretty much it's after how well I've been doing, and of course pretty much getting Old Slow Coach recently, as well as of course both versions of the Breakdown train for sure. So yeah. But again, we're just gonna let time, money, and of course luck be the judge of that, hands down for sure. And I guess I know a lot of you guys pretty much who really do love the Bachmann Hornby Thomas & Friends ranges, really want to pretty much message me asking me for help for sure, to which, well, I think right now I'm not looking for help on the currently for sure, but I would greatly appreciate the hands down, so yeah, but again, you may never know hands down, so So yeah, but regardless on that, I'm still looking forward to getting any new models for sure, so that way I can run them on my layout and of course make future videos with them anytime soon. And I guess on that thought alone, I think I might as well end this video here. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this latest video, and by all means, let me know down in the comments down below on what you guys think of this one. I would love to know. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can say, of course, that front. Thank you guys so much for watching this latest video, and don't worry, play more are going to be coming up very soon, so be on the lookout for, of course, what I'll have providing for sure. So yeah, but that's at least what I can say, of course, that front. Thank you guys so much for watching this latest video, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. So, oh hey, look at the time, pretty much, yeah, I guess it looks like I finished up filming this video just in the nick of time for sure. So yeah, that being the case, I better sign off and head off to my shift tag work for today. So yeah, I'll leave you that. Take care, guys.
Special thanks to all of my supporters on Patreon for making today's video possible, including my top tier supporters for this month, VD and Sam Shepard. So if you want to be like these guys and show your support to us, then go to patreon.com/Ackleyattack427TV to pledge now, do so, and get some awesome rewards within your budget. Hey guys, this is Ackleyattack4427 here. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Feel free to like, comment, and share if you enjoy what you're seeing. If you like what you see here and want to see more videos coming up, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and switch on the notification bell to get notifications, and select all notifications to be notified for when we post a new video. And don't forget to switch on notifications on your phone as well. Also, don't forget to check out my second channel and our 2-member channel with Sam the Thomas Fan 1, SamAttack4427TheThomasFan1 Productions, for plenty more content you can't find on here. You can check both of our channels out with the links or by our handles provided on screen. Feel free to shoot me an email with my email address provided, backley95@hotmail.com, if you want to ask me a question, want to collab with me for a project you've got in the works, or if you want to book me to be featured for a convention coming up. Follow me on my social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to keep up to date with me on updates, announcements, and new releases of my videos, as well as plenty of others I've got with my handles provided, as well as the links down in the description box below. Also, don't forget to follow me on TikTok for other videos I've got aside from the ones I've posted on YouTube, and on Twitch for any future live streams I've got coming up soon, as well as join our official Discord server to see what we've provided. If you wish to show your support to me, then feel free to check out my Patreon to get sneak peeks of my videos coming up before they go up online, as well as getting access to updates and playing more, in addition to getting some awesome rewards within your budget. Also, don't forget to check out and show your support to me on my wishlist on Amazon, and even supporting me at streamlabs.com/AckleyattackTV/tip that you can find in the description box below, as well as on my Twitch page. And in case you can't find any of the links that are provided, then not to worry about a thing. All the links and stuff are also provided on my link tree that you can also find in the description box below, as well as a few selected number of my social media pages. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be sure to see you in the next video. Take care.